I am Clara Hensley, a 65-year-old widow living quietly on gloomy, rainy days in Portland, Oregon. It seemed like my life was drifting toward peace after so many losses, until one fateful morning. The inbox glowed, an email from Cascade Trust Bank, title $750,000 personal loan in your name. 5,890 late payment warning. I was dumbfounded. I have never borrowed any money. The emotionless words threaten. If payment is not made within 10 days, we will initiate a lawsuit. My heart was pounding. It felt like the ground beneath my feet had just collapsed. Someone is trying to push me into a nightmare. I immediately called my son, Ethan. "Mom, it's probably just a mistake," he said, his voice nonchalant as if I was overdoing it. But my gut feeling tells me this is not a mistake. This is the intention. A trap has been set. But who is behind? Is it the person you love the most? Or is it a strange ghost pulling the strings in the darkness? This story is not just about an unjust debt. It's about betrayal, bleeding doubts, and my journey of rising up amidst loneliness to find the truth and myself. If you believe there is something behind all those seemingly absurd things, please subscribe and drop your heart. We will reveal the secret together. Are you ready? Step into the darkness with me, because only in darkness does light become bright. I'm sitting at the old kitchen table, pale sunlight filtering through the window curtains of my small house in Portland, Oregon, cup of tea still warm in hand. Then the familiar ting sound rang out from the laptop. An email landed in my inbox like a cold slap in the middle of a peaceful morning. The title appeared, like a knife in the chest. Urgent, overdue payment notice, Cascade Trust Bank. I frowned. Part of me thinks maybe it's just advertising. But when the next line appeared, I was dumbfounded. $750,000 personal loan, past due. Amount $5,890 says legal action will be taken after 10 days if payment is not made. My heart was beating so hard it felt like it was about to burst. I have never borrowed money. I didn't even know I could borrow such a large amount of money. I'm not the type to cause trouble. During the 8 years since my husband George passed away, I have paid all my bills on time, lived frugally, cautiously, and discreetly. So, what is this? A flaw in the system? Or worse, did someone do this on purpose? At that time, I didn't know that clicking to view that email would be the door that opened a nightmare that would drag me into a vortex of suspicion, betrayal, and buried secrets for a lifetime. I read the email again, my eyes glued to the screen and my trembling hand lightly hovered over the mouse. The loan was confirmed on March 15th, 2025, 3 months ago, with my signature. My signature? I haven't signed any documents since renewing my driver's license last year. My mind was spinning. A wave of nausea rose in my stomach, cold as ice. I pressed the call button on the bank's phone number listed in the email. The music automatically started up immediately, a shallow, repetitive jazz melody that seemed to taunt me. I heard my heartbeat echoing in my ears, beating rapidly and irregularly. My hand tightened around the receiver. With each note, I felt like I was being pushed deeper into the abyss of panic. Then, finally, a voice rang out on the other end of the line. "Cascade Trust Bank, this is Rachel. How can I assist you?" "Hi, this is Clara Hensley," I say, trying to keep my voice steady. "I got an email about a loan in my name, a $750,000 loan. I didn't take it. There's been a mistake." "One moment, Mrs. Hensley. Let me check." Her keyboard clicks in the background, each tap amplifying my dread. I see the account. The loan was opened on March 15th, 2025, with your social security number, passport copy, and signed contract. The first payment is overdue. "That's impossible," I snap, louder than intended. "I didn't sign anything. I don't even bank with you." Rachel's tone remains calm, infuriatingly so. I understand this is concerning. We have all the documentation, including your signature. You'd need to visit our downtown branch with ID to dispute it. I recommend doing so quickly, as the delinquency could escalate. Escalate how? I ask, gripping the phone. Legal proceedings, possibly asset seizure, she says matter of factly. I can schedule you an appointment for tomorrow. Asset seizure. My home, the one George and I scrimped to pay off, flashes in my mind. Fine, I mutter. Tomorrow morning. I hang up, my hands shaking so badly I nearly knock over my coffee mug. The kitchen, with its faded floral wallpaper and George's old radio on the counter, feels like a shrinking cage. Who could have done this? A scammer? A bank error? I open the email again, scanning for clues, but it's sterile, official, and damning. My thoughts spiral to my children, Ethan, 38, and Lily, 35. They've grown distant since George died, busy with their own lives, but surely they'd know if someone was using my identity. I call Ethan first. He's always been the confident one, a real estate agent with a knack for smooth talking. His phone rings twice before he picks up. Mom, what's up? His voice is casual, distracted, like he's half watching a game. Ethan, I just got an email from Cascade Trust Bank, I say, my words tumbling out. They say I owe money on a $750,000 loan I didn't take. They have my signature, my social security number, everything. It's fraud. Whoa, slow down, he says, a hint of amusement in his tone. You sure it's not a phishing scam? You didn't click any links, did you? No, I called the bank, I retort, annoyed by his condescension. It's real. They're threatening to sue me. Have you heard anything about this? Nah, sounds like a mix-up, he says breezily. Banks screw up all the time. Don't make a fuss, Mom. Just ignore it, and it'll sort itself out. Ignore it? My voice rises. They're talking about taking my house, Ethan. I'm going to the bank tomorrow, and if this isn't fixed, I'm calling the police. Police? He laughs, but it's forced. Come on, don't be dramatic. Look, I'm swamped with a client right now. Let's talk later, okay? Just don't do anything rash. He hangs up before I can respond, leaving me staring at the phone. His dismissal stings, but it's the nervous edge in his voice that sets my nerves on edge. Ethan's never been one for patience, but this feels different, like he's hiding something. I try Lily next, but her voicemail picks up. Lily, it's Mom. I need to talk to you about something serious. Call me back. I set the phone down, my mind racing. The rest of the day drags. I pace the house, replaying Ethan's words. Don't make a fuss. Why would he say that? I pull up my bank accounts online, double-checking for unauthorized transactions, but everything looks normal. Still, the email looms like a storm cloud. By evening, I'm too restless to cook, so I heat up leftover soup and sit at the table, staring at the laptop. I Google Cascade Trust Bank, half expecting to find news of a data breach, but nothing comes up. The bank's website is polished, its downtown Portland branch just a 20-minute bus ride away. I think about George. He was the practical one, always saying, Clara, don't let fear make your decisions. If he were here, he'd be on the phone with the bank, demanding answers. But he's gone, and it's just me now, facing a threat I don't understand. I close the laptop and head to bed, but sleep doesn't come. The email's words, delinquent, legal action, seizure, echo in my mind. Someone used my name, my life, to steal a fortune. And Ethan's reaction, that nervous laugh, keeps nagging at me. The next morning, I dress carefully. A navy blouse, gray slacks, and my good coat. I want to look like someone who can't be dismissed. The bus ride to downtown Portland is quiet, the city waking up under a gray sky. The Cascade Trust Bank branch is a sleek glass building, its lobby cold and echoing. I approach the counter, clutching my purse like a shield. I'm Clara Hensley. I tell the teller, a young man with a practiced smile. I need to speak to someone about a loan in my name. It's urgent. He nods, typing into his computer. I'll get our loan officer, Miss Carter. Please have a seat. I sit in a stiff chair, my eyes scanning the lobby. A couple in suits talks quietly near the ATM, and a security guard lingers by the door. My nerves jangle as I wait, the weight of the unknown pressing down. Ms. Carter appears, a middle-aged woman with sharp eyes and a clipboard. Mrs. Hensley, she says, extending a hand, let's discuss this in my office. Her office is small, with a view of the Willamette River. I explain the email, my voice steady despite the knot in my chest. I didn't take this loan, I say. I've never even been a customer here. Someone forged my signature. Ms. Carter frowns, pulling up my file. The loan was processed with your Social Security number, a signed contract, and tax returns from the past 2 years. Everything checked out. That's not possible, I say, leaning forward. I didn't sign anything. You need to investigate this, now. We'll need you to file a fraud claim, she says, sliding a form across the desk. But I must warn you, the bank will hold you responsible for payments until the dispute is resolved. The next payment is due in a week. Hold me responsible? My voice cracks. For a loan I didn't take? That's absurd. It's standard procedure, she says, unmoved. Fraud cases can take months to investigate. I leave the bank with the form, my anger simmering. The bus ride home feels endless, the city's hum a dull roar in my ears. Ethan's words, don't make a fuss, echo again, and I can't shake the feeling he knows more than he's letting on. As I step into my house, the silence is oppressive. I sit at the kitchen table, the fraud form staring back at me. This isn't just a bank error. Someone close to me, someone I trusted, has betrayed me. And I'm going to find out who. The ticking sound of the kitchen clock rang out steadily. Each beat seemed to tap directly into my chest, pushing the fear higher and higher like a flood. The fraud form from Cascade Trust Bank sat on the table, white, cold, and taunting me with its unfilled blanks. Those gaps weren't just procedural. They were holes in the security I once trusted. All morning, I sat there, eyes glued to the flickering screen, reading and rereading emails, as if hoping the letters would rearrange themselves to reveal something, a stray detail, a small loophole. But no, that email was as solid as the bank's impersonal glass hallways. 750,000, a forged signature, my social security number. Pieces of the puzzle appeared, but they didn't fit. There was no logic, only one looming truth. I could lose this house. The house that George and I built was not just with bricks and stones, but with memories and love. And now, it seemed to be suspended under the blade of an invisible guillotine. I need answers. And Ethan's contemptuous voice from yesterday kept repeating in my head like a needle prick. Mom, don't make a fuss. I can no longer sit still. I grabbed the phone, my hands shaking but determined. Fingers tightened around the device as if it were the last buoy in a storm. I dialed Ethan's number. And wait, this time I didn't call to ask for advice. I'm calling to demand the truth. Mom, I'm in a meeting, Ethan answers, his voice clipped. I hear muffled voices in the background, probably one of his real estate pitches. This can't wait, I say, my tone sharp. I went to the bank. They have my signature on a $750,000 loan I didn't take. My social security number, tax returns, everything. This is identity theft, Ethan, and I need to know if you've heard anything about it. Identity theft? He scoffs, but there's a slight hitch in his voice. You're blowing this out of proportion. Probably some hacker got your info. Happens all the time. The bank says the documents were verified. I press, pacing the kitchen. Someone knew enough about me to fake this. You're sure you don't know anything? Mom, I'm not your personal detective, he snaps. I've got deals to close. Just fill out whatever form they gave you and let the bank handle it. Don't go stirring up trouble. Trouble? My voice rises, heat flooding my face. They're threatening to sue me, Ethan. This isn't some spam email. Someone used my name to steal a fortune, and you're telling me to do nothing? Look, I gotta go, he says, his tone suddenly softer, almost placating. I'll swing by this weekend, okay? We'll figure it out. Just don't call the cops yet. Promise me. Why not? I ask, suspicion curling in my gut. What's wrong with calling the police? It's just, people will talk, Mom. You don't want the whole neighborhood knowing your business, right? I'll help you sort it out. He hangs up before I can argue, leaving me staring at the phone, my pulse hammering. His words, "Don't call the cops," echo like a warning bell. Ethan's never been shy about giving advice, but this feels different, like he's trying to steer me away from the truth. I sink into a chair, my mind racing. Could he be involved? The thought feels like a knife, but I can't ignore his evasiveness, the way he brushed me off. I try Lily again, hoping she'll be more forthcoming. Her voicemail picks up, her cheerful voice a stark contrast to my mood. Lily, it's Mom. I really need to talk to you about something serious. Please call me. I set the phone down and open my laptop, determined to dig deeper. The bank's email includes a loan reference number, so I log into their online portal using the temporary credentials Ms. Carter provided. My hands shake as I navigate the account. There it is, a $750,000 personal loan, opened March 15, 2025, with my name plastered across every document. I download the contract, my eyes scanning the scanned signature. It's close to mine, too close, but the loops on the C and H are wrong, slightly off, like a practiced imitation. My stomach twists. This wasn't a random hacker. Someone who knows me did this. I scroll through the loan details, searching for anything that might point to the culprit. The funds were disbursed to an escrow account for a property purchase, a penthouse at Riverfront Towers, a luxury high-rise in downtown Portland. My breath catches. Ethan's been bragging about his new place for weeks. A prime investment he claimed to have snagged through a client deal. I Google Riverfront Towers, and the images confirm my fears. Sleek glass walls, rooftop terraces, the kind of place far beyond Ethan's real estate commissions. The sale date aligns with the loan, March 15, 2025. Ethan, I whisper, my voice trembling. It can't be him, not my son, but the coincidence is too glaring. I close the laptop, my hands clammy. I need to confront him, but I need more than suspicion. I spend the afternoon combing through my files, checking for signs of tampering. My Social Security card is still in the safe, but I notice my tax return folder is slightly out of place, the edges of the papers creased. I always keep my documents meticulous. George taught me that. Someone's been in here. By evening, Lily finally calls back. Mom, what's going on? She asks, her voice tinged with impatience. I got your message. You sounded freaked out. Lily, thank God, I say, clutching the phone. The bank says I took out a $750,000 loan I didn't sign for. They're threatening legal action. I think someone stole my identity and I need to know if you've heard anything. A loan? She sounds surprised, but there's a pause, a fraction too long. That's weird. Maybe it's a scam? You didn't give out your info, did you? No, I didn't, I say, frustration creeping in. The bank has my signature, my tax returns. I think it's connected to Ethan's new penthouse. Have you talked to him about it? Ethan's penthouse? She laughs, but it's nervous. Mom, you're jumping to conclusions. He's doing well, that's all. He closed some big deals. Don't drag him into this. I'm not dragging anyone, I snap. I'm trying to save my home. If you know something, Lily, tell me now. I don't know anything, she says quickly. Look, I'm at a parent-teacher conference for Mia. Can we talk later? Just don't do anything crazy, okay? Crazy? I echo, my voice tight. Like protecting myself from fraud? You know what I mean, she says, softer now. Ethan's got enough on his plate. We'll figure it out as a family. She hangs up, and I'm left with the same sinking feeling I got from Ethan. They're both dodging me, and it's no coincidence. I spend the next hour online searching for information on the penthouse sale. Public records confirm the purchase. Riverfront Towers, Unit 2801, sold for $740,000 on March 15th. The buyer's name isn't listed, hidden behind an escrow company, but the timing is damning. I print the records, my resolve hardening. If Ethan's involved, I need proof, something the bank can't dismiss. The doorbell rings, startling me. It's Nora, my neighbor and friend since George's funeral. She's holding a tray of homemade brownies, her gray curls bouncing as she steps inside. You look like you've seen a ghost, she says, setting the tray on the counter. What's wrong? I hesitate, then spill everything, the email, the loan, Ethan's reaction, the penthouse. Nora listens, her eyes narrowing. That boy's always been too slick for his own good, she says when I finish. You need to dig deeper, Clara. If he's using your name, that's not just wrong, it's illegal. I know, I say, my voice barely above a whisper. But he's my son. How could he do this? People do crazy things for money, Nora says, squeezing my hand. You've got to protect yourself. Have you thought about a lawyer? Not yet, I admit. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. Wrap your head around it fast, she says. You don't have time to waste. If Ethan's behind this, he's banking on you staying quiet. Her words hit hard, and as she leaves, I feel a spark of determination ignite. I can't let this slide, not for Ethan, not for anyone. I open my laptop again, searching for fraud lawyers in Portland. A name pops up, Margaret Klein, specializing in financial fraud, with glowing reviews. I jot down her number, my heart pounding. This is bigger than a family misunderstanding. It's a betrayal, and I'm done being the victim. I went to bed. The fraud denunciation form lay quietly next to my pillow. The empty boxes on it seemed to be looking straight at me, challenging. Tomorrow, I'll call Margaret Klein. No matter how painful the truth is, I will find its light. Ethan and Lily may have tried to slow me down, but this time I didn't back down. Not out of anger, but because I won't allow anyone, not even my children, to erase the life I've worked so hard to build. The morning sun barely pierces the Portland fog as I sit at my kitchen table, the fraud form still untouched, its blank lines a silent accusation. Ethan's nervous laugh from our last call echoes in my mind, each syllable tightening the knot in my stomach. His new penthouse, that gleaming tower of glass at Riverfront Towers, feels like the key to this nightmare. I've spent hours replaying his words, "Don't call the cops." And Lily's, too, her quick dismissal laced with unease. They're hiding something, and the thought that my own son could be behind this betrayal cuts deeper than I want to admit. I sip my coffee, cold now, and open my laptop to dig deeper into the penthouse records. The public sale listing confirms what I found yesterday. Unit 2801, sold for $740,000 on March 15, 2025, the same day the fraudulent loan was processed. The buyer's name is obscured, listed only as an escrow account, but Ethan's recent boasts about his prime investment are too coincidental. I Googled his name, something I hadn't done in years, and a recent article from a local real estate blog popped up. Ethan Hensley lands record-breaking deal, it said, praising his smart purchase of a luxury penthouse. There's a photo of him, with a beaming smile and a neat suit, standing on a balcony with the Willamette River sparkling in the background. My chest tightened. That's my son, living a life funded by my stolen identity. I dial his number, my fingers trembling. He picks up on the fourth ring, his voice groggy. Mom, it's barely 8. What's wrong now? I saw your penthouse in the news, I say, keeping my tone even despite the anger simmering inside. Riverfront Towers, $740,000. Funny how that matches the loan in my name, signed the same day. Care to explain? Jesus, Mom, you're obsessed, he says, a sharp edge to his voice. I told you, I closed a big deal. The penthouse is legit. You think I'd steal from you? Then tell me how you paid for it, I press, pacing the kitchen. You've been scraping by for years, Ethan. Now you're living like a king, and my name's on a $750,000 loan I didn't take. Connect the dots for me. You're paranoid, he snaps. I don't have to justify my finances to you. Maybe you signed something and forgot. You're not exactly young, you know. The jab stings, but I swallow my hurt. Don't patronize me. I know my signature, and the one on that contract isn't mine. If you're not involved, why are you so scared of me going to the police? I'm not scared, he says too quickly. I just don't want you embarrassing yourself. Or us. Look, I'm coming over tomorrow, okay? We'll go through your papers, figure out what's what. Just don't do anything stupid till then. Stupid? My voice rises, heat flooding my face. Protecting myself isn't stupid, Ethan. If you know something, you'd better tell me now. I don't know anything, he shouts, then lowers his voice. I'm trying to help, Mom. Just wait for me, all right? He hangs up, leaving me gripping the phone, my pulse hammering. His defensiveness is a red flag, each word dripping with manipulation. I sink into a chair, my mind racing. Ethan's always been ambitious, chasing deals and status. But this, forging my signature, risking my home, it's unthinkable, yet the evidence is piling up. I try Lily again, hoping she'll be more honest, but her phone goes straight to voicemail. Lily, it's me, I say, my voice tight. I need to talk about Ethan and this loan. Call me back, please. Frustrated, I return to the laptop and pull up the loan contract I downloaded from the bank's portal. The forged signature stares back at me, a cruel mimicry of my own. I compare it to my driver's license, noting the subtle differences, the slant of the H, the curl of the Y. It's close enough to fool a busy bank teller, but not me. I print the contract, adding it to the growing stack of evidence. The sale record, the bank email, the article about Ethan. It's not enough for the police yet, but it's a start. The doorbell jolts me from my thoughts. It's Nora, my neighbor, holding a thermos of tea and a concerned frown. You didn't sleep, did you? She says, stepping inside. Your lights were on all night. I couldn't, I admit, gesturing to the papers on the table. It's Ethan, Nora. His penthouse was bought the same day as the loan. He's dodging my questions, acting like I'm the one who's crazy. Nora pours tea into 2 mugs, her eyes narrowing. That boy's got some nerve. You need to corner him, Clara. Get him to slip up. I tried, I say, wrapping my hands around the warm mug. He's coming over tomorrow, supposedly to help, but I don't trust him. He keeps telling me not to call the police. Of course he does, Nora says, her voice sharp. He's scared you'll find out the truth. You need a professional, someone who knows fraud. Did you call that lawyer I mentioned? Margaret Klein? I nod. I've got her number. I was going to call today. Good, Nora says. Don't let Ethan sweet talk you out of this. If he's using your name, he's not just hurting you, he's breaking the law. Her words steel my resolve, but the weight of suspecting my son presses down. I think of him as a boy, all wide eyes and scraped knees, running to me with his drawings. How did we get here? I push the thought away, focusing on the task at hand. After Nora leaves, I call Margaret Klein's office. A brisk receptionist answers. Klein and Associates, how can I help you? I need to speak with Margaret Klein about a fraud case, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. It's urgent. Ms. Klein has an opening tomorrow at 10 a.m., the receptionist says. Can you come to our office downtown? Yes, I say, jotting down the address. I'll be there. I hang up, a mix of relief and dread washing over me. Tomorrow, I'll face Ethan and then Margaret. I need to be ready for both. I spend the afternoon organizing my evidence, printing every email and document. I even check my home files again, noticing a missing folder, my 2023 tax return. It was here last month when I reviewed my budget. My heart sinks. Someone's been in my house, and Ethan's the only one with a spare key. By evening, Ethan texts, "See you tomorrow, 2 p.m. Don't worry, we'll fix this." His reassurance feels hollow, a ploy to keep me quiet. I don't reply, instead pulling up the real estate blog again. The photo of Ethan on that balcony burns into my mind. He's living a lie, and I'm paying the price. I go to bed, but sleep is a stranger. The fog outside mirrors the haze in my head. Ethan's visit tomorrow will be a test. Will he come clean or dig himself deeper? Either way, I'm done letting him control the narrative. Margaret Klein will give me the tools to fight back. I close my eyes, picturing George's steady gaze. "Stand up for yourself, Clara," he'd say. And I will, no matter what it costs. The morning air is damp, Portland's gray drizzle soaking my coat as I step off the bus downtown. My meeting with Margaret Klein is in an hour, but Ethan's visit this afternoon looms larger. His promise to fix this, ringing hollow in my ears. The evidence I've gathered, the loan contract with its forged signature, the Riverfront Towers sale record, the article about Ethan's penthouse, sits heavy in my purse, a weight I can't ignore. I clutch the straps tightly, my pulse quickening as I weave through the morning crowd toward Klein and Associates. Ethan's evasiveness, Lily's nervous dodge, they're both circling around the truth like vultures, and I'm done being their prey. I push open the glass door to Margaret's office, a small suite in a brick building off Morrison Street. The receptionist, a young woman with a sharp bob, looks up. "Mrs. Hensley, Ms. Klein is ready for you." Margaret Klein's office is warm, with bookshelves and a fern in the corner. A stark contrast to the bank's sterile chill. She's in her 50s, with silver streaks in her dark hair and a firm handshake. "Clara, please sit," she says, her voice calm but direct. "Tell me everything." I spill it all. The email from Cascade Trust Bank, the $750,000 loan, the forged signature, Ethan's penthouse, his insistence I not make a fuss. My voice shakes as I describe the missing tax return folder, the creeping certainty that my son is behind this. Margaret listens, jotting notes, her expression unreadable but attentive. "This is serious," she says when I finish, leaning back in her chair. Identity theft, especially by a family member, is a clear-cut case of fraud. The forged signature and your missing documents are strong evidence. Have you confronted Ethan directly about his involvement? Not yet, I admit, my fingers twisting the edge of my purse. He's coming over this afternoon. I want to hear what he says, but I don't trust him. He keeps trying to shut me down. "Smart to be cautious," Margaret says, tapping her pen. "Don't let him know you're consulting a lawyer yet. People in his position often rely on emotional manipulation to avoid accountability. If he's guilty, he'll try to guilt you into backing off." "Guilt me?" I scoff, though my chest tightens. "He's the one who might have stolen my identity." "Exactly," she says. "But family dynamics complicate things. Gather any more evidence you can, bank statements, emails, anything tying the loan to his penthouse. I'll draft a request for the bank's full loan file, including security footage from the signing date. If we can prove you weren't there, it's a slam dunk." "What happens if it's him?" I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. "If Ethan did this?" Margaret's eyes soften, but her tone stays firm. If he's guilty, we can file a civil suit to void the loan and seek damages. A criminal complaint is also an option, but that's a tougher call. It could mean jail time for him. You'll need to decide what you're prepared to do. The weight of her words settles over me like the fog outside. Jail time for my son? I nod, swallowing hard, and leave with a plan. Get through Ethan's visit, then bring Margaret everything I find. The bus ride home is a blur, my mind tangled in memories of Ethan as a boy, his lopsided grin, his dreams of making it big. How did we end up here? Ethan arrives at 2 p.m. sharp, his sports car gleaming in my driveway, a red monstrosity that screams money. He's in a tailored jacket, his hair slicked back, but his smile doesn't reach his eyes. "Hey, Mom," he says, stepping inside. "Let's sort this out." I gesture to the kitchen table, where I've laid out the loan contract and sale record, keeping my face neutral. "Sit down, Ethan. I found some things you need to explain." He glances at the papers, his jaw tightening. "What's this? You're playing detective now?" "I'm protecting myself," I say, crossing my arms. "The loan was used to buy your penthouse. Same date, same amount. You expect me to believe that's a coincidence?" "Mom, you're reaching," he says, leaning back with a forced laugh. "I told you I closed a big deal. The penthouse is an investment. You think I'd risk my career over some shady loan? Then how'd you pay for it?" I press, my voice steady despite the tremor in my hands. "Your commissions don't cover a $740,000 penthouse, and my tax returns are missing from my safe. You have a key, Ethan." His eyes narrow, a flicker of panic crossing his face. "You're accusing me? That's low, Mom. I don't touch your stuff. Maybe you misplaced it. You're not exactly organized these days." "Don't you dare!" I snap, slamming my hand on the table. "I know my files. Someone took them, and now my name's on a loan I didn't sign. If you're not involved, why are you so defensive?" "I'm not defensive," he shouts, standing up. "I'm tired of you making me the bad guy. Maybe Lily took your papers. She's always been careless." "Lily?" I frown, caught off guard. "She doesn't have a key." "Whatever," he says, pacing. "Look, I'll talk to the bank, okay? I know a guy there, Tyler Brooks. He'll clear this up. Just don't go running to the cops and ruin our family's name." There it is again. Don't go to the cops. "Why do you keep saying that?" I ask, my voice low. "What are you afraid they'll find?" "I'm not afraid," he says, but his hands are fidgeting. "I just don't want you making a scene. Let me handle it." He grabs his keys, heading for the door. "I'll call you tomorrow." He's gone before I can respond, the roar of his car fading down the street. I sink into a chair, my heart pounding. Tyler Brooks, a name to chase. I grab my laptop and search for him, finding a LinkedIn profile. Tyler Brooks, loan officer at Cascade Trust Bank. Ethan's guy at the bank. My suspicion hardens into certainty. This isn't a random scam, it's personal. I call Lily, desperate for another perspective. She picks up this time, her voice strained. "Mom, I'm at work. What's this about Ethan?" "He was just here," I say, my words clipped. "He's dodging questions about the loan, and now he's throwing you under the bus, saying you might have taken my tax returns. What's going on, Lily?" "Me?" She sounds indignant. "I haven't been to your house in months. Ethan's full of it. He's probably just stressed about his new place." "His new place," I repeat, my tone icy. "Bought with a loan in my name. Did you know about this, Lily?" "No," she says too quickly. "I mean, he mentioned a big deal, but I didn't ask details. Mom, don't drag me into this. I've got enough going on with Mia." "Then help me," I plead. "If Ethan's lying, I need to know. My home's on the line." "I'll talk to him," she says, her voice softening. "But please don't do anything drastic." "We're family, okay?" She hangs up, leaving me with more questions than answers. I spend the evening digging deeper, emailing the bank for transaction records and searching for Tyler Brooks' connection to Ethan. A college alumni page mentions them as fraternity brothers, a detail that sends a chill down my spine. Ethan's not just involved, he's got help. I call Nora, needing her steady voice. Clara, you're on to something, she says after I recount everything. That Tyler guy's your next lead, but be careful. Ethan's desperate to keep you quiet. I'm not backing down, I say, my resolve firm. Tomorrow, I'm back at Margaret's with everything I've got. Good, Nora says. You're stronger than you know, Clara. Don't let him make you doubt that. I hang up, staring at the stack of evidence. Ethan's penthouse, Tyler's involvement, Lily's hesitance. It's all connected. I'm not just fighting for my home anymore. I'm fighting for my dignity, and I won't let my children take that from me. The drizzle has stopped, but Portland's gray sky hangs heavy as I step into Margaret Klein's office again, my purse bulging with printed emails. The forged loan contract, and notes on Ethan's connection to Tyler Brooks. My heart pounds, not just from the walk from the bus stop, but from the weight of what I'm about to do. Ethan's visit yesterday left me raw. His deflections, his accusations, the way he tried to make me feel small. I'm done doubting myself. If he's behind this fraud, I need to face it head on, no matter how much it hurts. Margaret's firm handshake grounds me as I sit across from her. The fern in her office a quiet contrast to the storm in my chest. Clara, you've been busy, Margaret says, eyeing the stack of papers I place on her desk. Her voice is steady, professional, but there's a warmth that makes me feel seen. What do you have for me? Everything I could find, I say, spreading out the documents. The loan contract with the forged signature, the Riverfront Towers sale record, and an article about Ethan's penthouse purchase. The dates match, March 15th, 2025, and I found out Ethan knows a loan officer at Cascade Trust, Tyler Brooks. They were fraternity brothers. Margaret's eyes narrow as she scans the papers, her pen tapping rhythmically. This is compelling, she says, holding up the contract. The signature's close, but a handwriting expert can confirm it's a forgery. The connection to Brooks is a red flag. If he helped Ethan bypass verification, that's a serious breach. What does that mean for me? I ask, my voice tight. If Ethan did this, what can we do? This is textbook identity theft, Margaret says, leaning forward. We can file a civil suit to void the loan and seek damages for emotional distress. The bank's negligence in verifying the application could make them liable too. If we pursue a criminal complaint, Ethan could face fraud charges, fines, maybe jail time. But that's a harder path, especially since he's your son. Jail time? The words hit like a punch. I picture Ethan in a courtroom, his confident smirk gone. My son, a criminal. I swallow hard, pushing the image away. I just want my name cleared. I can't lose my house. I understand, Margaret says, her tone softening. Let's start with the civil suit. We'll demand the bank's full loan file, including any security footage from the signing date. If Ethan or someone else posed as you, we'll catch them. You mentioned missing tax returns. Any other signs of tampering? My safe, I say, my fingers twisting the edge of my purse. Ethan has a key. The tax folder was moved, creased, like someone handled it. I didn't notice until after the bank email. Margaret nods, jotting a note. That's critical. It suggests someone with access to your home. We'll need a list of everyone who's been there recently. For now, don't confront Ethan directly about the lawsuit. Let him think you're still unsure. He's coming over again tomorrow, I say, my stomach churning. He says he'll fix it, but I don't trust him. He keeps telling me not to call the police. He's trying to control the narrative, Margaret says, her eyes sharp. Keep him talking, but don't reveal our plan. Record the conversation if you can, Oregon's a one-party consent state. Anything incriminating could strengthen our case. I nod, my resolve hardening. I'll do it. What's next? I'll file a fraud dispute with the bank today, she says, pulling out a form. We'll request all records related to the loan, application, communications, payment history. If Ethan's making payments, that's another link. You focus on gathering any other evidence, texts, emails, anything he said about the penthouse. I leave her office with a sense of purpose, the weight of betrayal tempered by the plan taking shape. The bus ride home is quiet, the city's hum a distant drone. I think of George, his steady voice urging me to stand firm. He'd hate seeing me pitted against our son, but he'd hate Ethan's betrayal more. At home, I check my phone. Lily's texted. Talk to Ethan. He says it's a misunderstanding. Let's meet this weekend to sort it out. Her words feel rehearsed, like she's parroting Ethan's line. I don't reply. Instead, I set up my phone's voice recorder, testing it to ensure it's ready for tomorrow. Ethan arrives the next day, his red sports car gleaming under the noon sun. He's in a casual sweater, but his eyes are wary, scanning my face as he steps inside. Mom, you look stressed, he says, forcing a smile. Let's figure this out, okay? Sit, I say, gesturing to the kitchen table. The recorder's on in my pocket, its tiny red light a secret anchor. I found more about the penthouse, Ethan. It was bought with a loan in my name. You expect me to believe you had nothing to do with it? He sighs, running a hand through his hair. You're still on this? I told you, it's a bank error. My deal was separate, a cash buyer, a client I flipped it to. You're making this personal. Then explain the timing, I say, my voice steady. March 15th, the loan signed. Same day you close on the penthouse, and my tax returns are gone. You have a key, Ethan. You're accusing me again? His voice rises, but his eyes dart away. I don't need your papers, Mom. Maybe Lily took them. She's been struggling, you know. Stop blaming her, I snap. You're the one living in a penthouse you can't afford. And what's this about Tyler Brooks? You said he'd clear this up. How do you know him? We went to college together, he says, shrugging. He's a friend, works at the bank. I asked him to look into it, that's all. Convenient, I say, leaning forward. Did he help you get the loan? Did he push it through without checking? Mom, you're delusional, he says, standing abruptly. I'm trying to help, and you're treating me like a criminal. I'll talk to Tyler, okay? Just don't do anything stupid like calling the cops. He storms out, slamming the door, the echo ringing in my ears. I stop the recorder, my hands shaking. His desperation confirms it. He's involved. I call Margaret, playing the recording over the phone. He's panicking, she says after listening. The mention of Brooks is a lead. I've got the bank's response. Payments on the loan came from an account linked to Ethan's Real Estate LLC. We're building a strong case. I hang up, my heart heavy but resolute. I try Lily one last time, needing to know her role. She answers, her voice tense. Mom, why are you hounding Ethan? He says you're blowing this out of proportion. Lily, he's lying, I say, my patience fraying. The loan's tied to his penthouse. If you know anything, tell me now, or I'm going to the police. Police? She gasps. Mom, you can't. It'll ruin him, ruin us. He's stressed, okay? He made some bad calls, but he's not a thief. Bad calls? I echo, my voice cold. Like forging my signature? Risking my home? If you're protecting him, you're part of this. I'm not, she cries. I knew he was working with Tyler, but I didn't ask details. Please, Mom, don't destroy our family. I hang up, her words cutting deep. Lily knew something, and she did nothing. I call Nora, needing her clarity. They're both in on it, I say, my voice breaking. Lily admitted Ethan worked with Tyler. Then you've got them, Nora says fiercely. Take this to Margaret. Let Ethan face the consequences. I nod, though she can't see me. Tomorrow I'll bring Margaret the recording and Lily's admission. Ethan's penthouse, his lies, his betrayal. It's all unraveling. I'm not just fighting for my home now. I'm fighting for the truth, and I won't let my children bury it. The air feels electric as I stand outside Riverfront Towers, the sleek glass building reflecting Portland's evening skyline. My heart pounds, a mix of dread and determination as I clutch the court summons Margaret prepared. Tonight is Ethan's penthouse opening party, a lavish affair to flaunt his newfound wealth, and I'm here to crash it. Beside me, Elliot Nash, a court officer with a calm demeanor, adjusts his tie, the summons tucked inside his jacket. Margaret warned me this would be dramatic, but I'm past caring about appearances. Ethan's fraud, using my name to fund this glittering lie, ends now. I take a deep breath, steeling myself for the confrontation. "Ready, Mrs. Hensley?" Elliot asks, his voice steady. "As I'll ever be," I say, my voice firm despite the tremor in my hands. "Let's do this." We step into the lobby, all marble and chrome, and take the elevator to the 28th floor. The muffled thump of music grows louder as we approach Unit 2801. My mind races. Ethan's smug smile, his dismissive "don't make a fuss," the forged signature that's threatened my home. I've spent days gathering evidence with Margaret, the loan contract, the riverfront sale record, Ethan's connection to Tyler Brooks. It's enough to prove fraud, but tonight isn't about papers. It's about showing Ethan I'm not invisible. The door opens and a young woman in a black server's uniform greets us. "You with the catering team?" she asks, eyeing Elliot's suit. "No," Elliot says, his tone official. "We need to speak with Ethan Hensley. Official business." She hesitates, then nods. "He's in the main room. Follow me." The penthouse is a spectacle. Floor-to-ceiling windows showcasing the Willamette River, crystal chandeliers casting light on designer furniture. Guests in tailored suits and sparkling dresses sip champagne, their laughter grating against my nerves. I spot Ethan in the center, his arm around a woman in a red gown, his laugh loud and performative. He's playing the part of a success story, but it's built on my stolen identity. The server points him out, and Elliot strides forward. I follow, my navy dress feeling like armor. The crowd parts as Ethan notices us, his smile faltering. "Mom," he says, his voice a mix of surprise and irritation. "What are you doing here?" "Ethan Hensley?" Elliot asks, stepping forward. "Yeah, who are you?" Ethan replies, his eyes darting between us. "Elliot Nash, court officer," he says, pulling the summons from his jacket. "I'm serving you notice of a civil suit filed by Clara Hensley for fraud and identity theft regarding a $750,000 loan from Cascade Trust Bank." The room goes silent, the clink of glasses stopping as all eyes turn to us. Ethan's face pales, his champagne flute frozen mid-air. "What the hell is this?" he snaps, snatching the papers from Elliot. "Mom, you're suing me? In front of everyone?" "You left me no choice," I say, my voice steady despite the weight of every gaze. "You used my name, my signature, to buy this penthouse. You thought I'd stay quiet, let you risk my home? Not anymore." "This is insane," he says, his voice rising. "I didn't do anything. This is a bank error like I told you." "Then explain the loan," I say, stepping closer. "Signed March 15th, the same day you closed on this place. My tax returns, stolen from my safe. Your friend Tyler Brooks, pushing it through. You think I'm too old to connect the dots?" The guests murmur, some stepping back, others whispering. A man in a suit, Ethan's business partner maybe, frowns. "Ethan, what's she talking about?" "Nothing," Ethan shouts, his face red. "She's confused, okay? She doesn't know what she's saying." "Don't you dare," I snap, my voice cutting through the room. "I have proof, the forged signature, The sale records, your payments from your LLC. You betrayed me, Ethan. You used me. You're embarrassing yourself, he hisses, grabbing my arm. I pull away, my eyes locked on his. No, you're embarrassing yourself, I say. Living a lie, pretending you earned this. You stole from your own mother. Enough, he yells, turning to the guests. This is a family matter. Let's take it outside, Mom. No, I say, planting my feet. You wanted an audience for your success. Now they can see the truth. This penthouse, this party, it's all built on fraud. A woman in a sequined dress gasps, setting down her drink. Ethan's partner steps forward. Ethan, is this true? Did you use your mom's name for the loan? Of course not, Ethan says, but his voice cracks, his eyes darting to the summons in his hand. She's not well. She's making it up. Then why's your name on the payments? I ask, my voice low but firm. Why did Tyler Brooks, your frat buddy, approve a loan with a fake signature? Explain that, Ethan. He opens his mouth, but no words come. The room is a sea of shocked faces, the music a faint hum in the background. Elliot clears his throat. Mr. Hensley, you've been served. My job here is done. He nods to me. Mrs. Hensley, I'll wait outside. Thank you, I say, my eyes still on Ethan. Elliot leaves, and the silence is deafening. Ethan's shoulders slump. The summons crumpled in his fist. You're ruining everything, he whispers, his voice raw. Why couldn't you just let it go? Because it's my life, I say, my voice trembling but resolute. You risked my home, my security, for this. I gesture to the penthouse, its opulence now a hollow mockery. I trusted you, Ethan, and you used me. A woman, his girlfriend maybe, touches his arm. Ethan, what's going on? Is she telling the truth? Stay out of this, Lauren, he snaps, pulling away. He turns to me, his eyes blazing. You want to play hardball? Fine, but don't expect me to forgive you for this. Forgive me? I laugh, bitter and sharp. You're the one who needs forgiveness, and you won't get it until you own up to what you did. I turn to leave, the guests parting like a tide. A few whisper apologies, others avoid my gaze. As I reach the door, I hear Ethan's voice, low and desperate. Mom, wait, we can talk this out, please. I pause, my hand on the doorknob, but I don't turn back. You had your chance, I say. The next conversation happens in court. I step into the elevator, my heart racing but my head high. The doors close, shutting out the murmurs and Ethan's stunned silence. Outside, Elliot waits, his expression neutral. You okay? He asks. I will be, I say, the night air cool against my flushed skin. I call Margaret from the sidewalk, my voice steady. It's done. He's been served. Good, she says. He'll try to talk you out of it now. Stay strong. We've got a solid case. His reaction tonight just proves it. I hang up, the city's lights blurring as I walk to the bus stop. Ethan's face, pale and panicked, haunts me. But so does the truth. He betrayed me. My son, my flesh and blood, built his dream on my stolen name. I think of George, his steady voice urging me to fight. I'm fighting now for my home, my dignity, my truth. Ethan may hate me, but I won't let his lies define me. Nora's waiting when I get home, her porch light glowing. How'd it go? She asks, pulling me into a hug. I did it, I say, my voice breaking. I called him out, Nora, in front of everyone. That's my girl, she says, her eyes fierce. He can't hide anymore. I nod, exhaustion settling in. Tomorrow, I'll meet Margaret to plan the next steps. Tonight, I've taken back my power. Ethan's world is crumbling, and for the first time, I feel like I'm standing tall. The Portland skyline glitters through the drizzle as I sit in Margaret Klein's office. the summons receipt from Ethan's party, a quiet victory on her desk. My hands are steady, but my heart still races from last night's confrontation. Ethan's pale face, his desperate denial, the shocked whispers of his guests. I exposed him, tore down his carefully crafted facade, but the weight of accusing my own son presses against my chest. Margaret's sharp eyes study me as she sips her coffee, the fern in her office swaying slightly in the draft. I've brought her everything: the recorded conversation with Ethan, the bank's loan records, and a new piece of evidence that's turned my suspicion into certainty. A revelation that makes this fraud bigger than I imagined. Clara, you've outdone yourself, Margaret says, flipping through my notes. The recording from Ethan's visit is gold. He practically admitted to knowing Tyler Brooks pushed the loan through. But this new find, what made you dig into the property records again? I couldn't sleep, I admit, my voice low. After the party, I kept thinking about how Ethan dodged every question. I searched the penthouse's title records online, expecting his name. But it's not his. It's registered to Pacific Ventures LLC, a company set up by his friend, Mark Sullivan, 2 weeks before the loan was signed. Margaret's eyebrows shoot up. A shell company? She leans forward, her pen tapping. That's a classic move to hide ownership. Did you find any link to Ethan? Yes, I say, sliding a printout across the desk. Pacific Ventures lists Mark as the sole officer, but the company's bank account made the loan payments. And Mark? He's Ethan's old college buddy, always tagging along on his deals. I found an email from Ethan to Mark, forwarded to me by mistake last month, talking about securing the riverfront deal. It's not direct, but it's damning. Margaret scans the email, her lips curving into a grim smile. This changes everything. Ethan didn't just use your name, he built a network to cover his tracks. The shell company makes it harder to trace the money, but it also makes his intent clearer. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment scam. What does it mean for the case? I ask, my fingers tightening around my purse. Can we prove he's behind it? Absolutely, she says. The shell company, combined with the forged signature and Brooks' involvement, paints a picture of deliberate fraud. We'll subpoena Pacific Ventures' financials and Mark's communications. If Ethan's directing the payments, we've got him. I nod, but my stomach twists. He's my son, I say softly. I keep hoping there's another explanation, but it's all pointing to him. Margaret's eyes soften. I know it's hard, Clara. Family betrayal cuts deep, but you're doing the right thing. He's counting on your love to keep you quiet. Don't let him. Her words hit like a cold splash of water. I think of Ethan's face last night, the way he tried to dismiss me as confused in front of his friends. He's banking on my silence, my guilt. I won't give him that power. What's our next move? I ask, straightening. I'm filing for a discovery order today, Margaret says. We'll get every document tied to Pacific Ventures and the loan. I'll also request a handwriting analysis to confirm the forgery. If Mark or Tyler Brooks are complicit, they'll crack under pressure. People like this rarely stay loyal when the law comes knocking. I leave her office. The city's hum a distant roar as I board the bus home. The weight of the shell company revelation sits heavy. Ethan didn't just steal my identity, he orchestrated a scheme, roping in his friend to hide it. I try to call Lily, needing to know if she's part of this too. Her phone goes to voicemail as usual. Lily, it's Mom, I say, my voice tight. I found out Ethan's penthouse is under a shell company. If you know anything, tell me now. I'm going to court. At home, Nora's waiting with a plate of cookies, her eyes searching mine. You look like you've been through a war, she says, pulling me into the kitchen. What happened? I tell her about Pacific Ventures, Mark Sullivan, the email. Her face hardens. That boy's dug his own grave, she says. A shell company? That's not a mistake, Clara. That's a plan. I know, I say, sinking into a chair. But Lily's dodging me too. I think she knew more than she's saying. Then confront her, Nora says, pouring tea. She's your daughter. If she's protecting Ethan, she's choosing sides. I nod, my resolve firming. I text Lily. We need to talk. Tonight, my place. She replies an hour later. Busy with Mia. Tomorrow? I grip my teeth. No, tonight, 7 p.m. She doesn't respond, but I know she'll come. She always does when I push. At 7:05, Lily's car pulls into my driveway. She steps inside, her face pale, her hair pulled back in a messy bun. Mom, what's this about? She asks, avoiding my eyes. I'm exhausted. Sit, I say, pointing to the kitchen table. The recorder's in my pocket, just in case. I know about Pacific Ventures LLC. Ethan's penthouse is registered to a shell company run by Mark Sullivan. The loan in my name paid for it. Did you know? Her eyes widen, but she recovers quickly. A shell company? Mom, you're sounding paranoid. Ethan's just doing business. He's not a criminal. Then why's he hiding the ownership? I press, leaning forward. Why's my name on a $750,000 loan I didn't take? You said you knew he was working with Tyler Brooks. What else do you know? I don't know anything, she snaps, her voice shaking. Ethan said he had a big deal, okay? I didn't ask questions. I'm not his keeper. You're my daughter, I say, my voice low and hard. You knew he was up to something, and you didn't warn me. My home's at stake, Lily, my life, and you're protecting him? I'm not protecting anyone, she cries, standing. I just didn't want to get involved. Ethan's always been ambitious. I thought he had it under control. Control? I laugh, bitter. He stole my identity, Lily. He's risking everything I have. If you're not part of this, then help me. Tell me what you know. She hesitates, her eyes darting to the door. I heard him talking to Mark a few months ago, she says finally, her voice barely audible. Something about using Mom's credit to secure a deal. I thought he meant with your permission. My heart sinks, the betrayal now a family affair. And you didn't tell me? I ask, my voice breaking. You let him use me? I didn't know it was like this, she says, tears in her eyes. I thought it was just business. I'm sorry, Mom. Sorry doesn't fix this, I say, standing. I'm taking Ethan to court. If you're smart, you'll stay out of his mess. She leaves without another word, the door clicking shut behind her. I collapse into a chair, the recorder still running. Lily's admission, however vague, is another nail in Ethan's coffin. I call Margaret, playing the recording. She knew, I say, my voice hollow. Not everything, but enough. This strengthens our case, Margaret says. Lily's not a defendant, but her knowledge makes Ethan's intent clearer. We're meeting tomorrow to review the discovery files. Get some rest, Clara. You've done the hard part. Rest feels impossible, but I nod. The shell company, Lily's confession, Ethan's lies. It's all unraveling. I'm not just fighting for my home now. I'm fighting for the truth, and no amount of family guilt will stop me. The courtroom smells of polished wood and stale coffee, a sterile contrast to the chaos in my chest. I sit in the plaintiff's chair, Margaret Klein beside me, her briefcase open with our evidence meticulously arranged. The forged loan contract, the Riverfront Towers sale record, Ethan's recorded denials, and the bombshell about Pacific Ventures LLC. Across the room, Ethan sits with his lawyer, a slick man in a pinstripe suit, his face a mask of forced confidence. The judge, a stern woman with gray hair pulled tight, reviews the case file. Today, the truth comes out. Ethan's fraud, his betrayal, the penthouse built on my stolen name. I should feel triumphant, but all I feel is a hollow ache for the son I thought I knew. Margaret leans over, her voice low. We've got this, Clara. The evidence is airtight. Stay calm. no matter what Ethan's lawyer throws at us. I nod, my hands clasped tightly in my lap. The courtroom is sparse. Nora sits in the back, her encouraging nod a lifeline, but Lily's absence stings. She hasn't spoken to me since admitting she knew about Ethan's scheme. The judge calls the session to order, and Margaret rises, her voice clear and commanding. Your Honor, Clara Hensley is the victim of identity theft orchestrated by her son, Ethan Hensley, she begins, gesturing to the evidence. On March 15, 2025, a $750,000 loan was secured in her name using a forged signature, stolen tax returns, and her social security number. The funds purchased a penthouse at Riverfront Towers, registered to Pacific Ventures LLC, a shell company linked to Ethan through his associate, Mark Sullivan. We have bank records, a handwriting analysis, and recorded statements proving Ethan's involvement. Ethan's lawyer stands, his smile oily. Your Honor, this is a family dispute exaggerated into a legal circus. My client denies any wrongdoing. Mrs. Hensley may have authorized the loan and forgotten, given her age. There's no direct evidence tying Ethan to the forgery. No direct evidence? Margaret retorts, holding up the bank records. Payments on the loan came from Ethan Hensley's Real Estate LLC. His fraternity brother, Tyler Brooks, a loan officer at Cascade Trust Bank, bypassed standard verification. The penthouse sale aligns perfectly with the loan date. And this, she presents the email from Ethan to Mark Sullivan mentioning the riverfront deal. This isn't coincidence, it's intent. The judge peers over her glasses. Mrs. Hensley, please take the stand. I walk to the witness box, my legs unsteady, but my resolve firm. The clerk swears me in, and Margaret begins. Clara, describe how you discovered the loan. I recount the email from Cascade Trust, the shock of the 5,890 delinquency, the bank's confirmation of my forged signature. My voice trembles as I describe Ethan's evasiveness, his insistence I not make a fuss. He knew, I say, meeting Ethan's eyes across the room. He had a key to my safe. My tax returns were missing. He bought a penthouse he couldn't afford, and now I'm facing lawsuits for his debt. Ethan's lawyer cross-examines, his tone patronizing. Mrs. Hensley, isn't it possible you signed the loan documents and forgot? Memory can be unreliable at your age. I'm 65, not senile, I snap, my voice cutting through the room. I've managed my finances alone since my husband died. I didn't sign that contract. The signature's a forgery. Your own expert confirmed it. He shifts tactics. You gave Ethan access to your safe, correct? Could he have taken the documents with your permission? No, I say firmly. I never gave him permission to use my identity. He betrayed my trust. The lawyer sits, his smirk faltering. Ethan takes the stand next, his posture stiff. His lawyer asks, Mr. Hensley, did you forge your mother's signature or use her information for the loan? No, Ethan says, his voice smooth, but his eyes darting. I bought the penthouse through a legitimate deal. My mother's confused. She's been under stress since my dad passed. I'd never steal from her. Margaret stands, her gaze piercing. Mr. Hensley, explain why loan payments came from your LLC's account. It's a business account, he says, shrugging. I manage multiple properties. Maybe the bank mixed up the paperwork. And Pacific Ventures LLC? She presses, holding up the company records. Why is the penthouse registered to a shell company run by your friend Mark Sullivan, created just before the loan? Ethan hesitates, his jaw tightening. Mark's a partner. He handles some of my investments. It's standard practice. Standard practice to hide ownership? Margaret asks, her voice sharp. And Tyler Brooks, your fraternity brother, approved a loan with a forged signature. Did you ask him to skip verification? No, Ethan snaps, his face reddening. I didn't ask for anything. Tyler's just a friend. Margaret plays the recording from my kitchen, Ethan's voice echoing. I'll talk to Tyler, okay? Just don't call the cops. The courtroom is silent, Ethan's eyes wide with panic. Margaret turns to the judge. The evidence speaks for itself, Your Honor. Ethan Hensley orchestrated this fraud, and his sister, Lily Hensley, admitted to knowing about his plans. Lily's name hits me like a blow. I didn't want her dragged into this, but her silence made her complicit. The judge calls a recess, and I step outside, the hallway's fluorescent lights harsh against my eyes. Nora joins me, her hand on my shoulder. You were incredible up there, she says. Ethan's crumbling. He's still my son, I say, my voice breaking. But he left me no choice. I know, Nora says softly. You're doing what's right. The trial resumes and Mark Sullivan testifies, his voice shaky. Ethan asked me to set up Pacific Ventures. He admits under Margaret's questioning. He said it was to protect the penthouse from creditors. I didn't know about the loan until later. Tyler Brooks takes the stand, his face pale. I trusted Ethan, he says. He brought the documents, said his mom approved. I didn't double check. I should have. Their admissions seal Ethan's fate. The judge delivers her ruling. The evidence clearly shows Ethan Hensley used his mother's identity to secure a $750,000 loan without her consent. The loan is voided, and Mrs. Hensley is relieved of all obligations. Mr. Hensley is ordered to pay $25,000 in damages for emotional distress. The bank may pursue further action against Mr. Hensley for the outstanding balance. Ethan slumps in his chair, his lawyer whispering urgently. The penthouse will be seized to cover the loan, his reputation in tatters. Guests from his party, some in the courtroom, avoid his gaze. Lily, who slipped in during the ruling, looks away, tears in her eyes. I want to reach out to her, but her silence speaks louder than words. I leave the courtroom, Margaret at my side. You won, Clara, she says, her voice warm. The bank's off your back, and Ethan's facing the consequences. I don't feel like I won, I say, my voice hollow. I just lost my son. You stood up for yourself, she says. That's a victory, even if it hurts. Outside, Portland's rain has started again, a soft patter on my umbrella. Nora waits, pulling me into a hug. You did it, she says. Now what? Now I figure out how to live with this, I say, my eyes burning. Ethan's downfall is justice, but it's also a wound. Lily's complicity, her silence, cuts just as deep. I've won my freedom, but at what cost? The rain taps against my kitchen window, a steady rhythm that mirrors the ache in my chest. It's been a week since the courtroom victory, since Ethan's world crumbled under the weight of his own lies. The judge's ruling voided the $750,000 loan, freeing me from the bank's threats, and ordered Ethan to pay $25,000 in damages. The penthouse at Riverfront Towers is set to be seized, his reputation shattered among Portland's elite. Lily's silence during the trial, her tearful avoidance of my gaze, confirmed her complicity. She knew Ethan's plan and did nothing. I should feel vindicated, but instead I'm hollow, grappling with the wreckage of my family. My home is safe, but my heart is not. I sit at the table, a cold mug of tea in my hands, staring at the stack of court documents Margaret sent over. The victory feels like a Pyrrhic one. Ethan hasn't called, hasn't texted, hasn't even tried to explain. Lily's only contact was a curt message. Need space. Please don't reach out. My children, the ones I raised through sleepless nights and scraped knees, have turned their backs. The pain is sharp, a blade twisting with every memory of their childhood laughter, now replaced by betrayal. The doorbell jars me from my thoughts. Nora steps inside, shaking rain from her umbrella, her eyes soft but searching. You look like you haven't slept in days, she says, setting a tin of scones on the counter. Talk to me, Clara. I sigh, pushing the mug away. I won, Nora. The loan's gone. Ethan's paying for it. But I've lost them. Ethan, Lily, maybe forever. Was it worth it? Nora pulls up a chair, her gaze steady. You didn't lose them, Clara. They chose to walk away. Ethan stole from you. Lily let him. You fought for your dignity, and that's no small thing. I know, I say, my voice cracking. But they're my kids. I keep thinking if I'd let it go, ignored the loan, maybe we'd still be a family. A family built on lies? Nora scoffs, pouring herself tea. You'd have lost your home, your security, and for what? To keep Ethan's ego intact? You did what any mother would do. You held them accountable. Did I? I ask, my fingers tracing the edge of the table. Or did I push too hard? Ethan's lost everything, his penthouse, his reputation. Lily's ashamed, hiding from me. What if I was too harsh? Nora leans forward, her voice firm. Clara, listen to me. You didn't make Ethan forge your signature. You didn't make Lily stay silent. They made those choices. You're not the villain here. You're the one who stood up when they thought you'd stay down. Her words sink in, but the doubt lingers. I think of Ethan's face in court, pale and defiant, refusing to meet my eyes. I think of Lily's text, her plea for space like a door slamming shut. I raised them to be better, didn't I? George and I gave them everything. Love, support, a stable home. Where did I go wrong? I keep replaying it, I admit, my voice barely above a whisper. Every fight, every time I let them talk down to me. Maybe I was too soft, too forgiving. Maybe that's why Ethan thought he could use me. Stop that, Nora says, her tone sharp. You were a good mother. Ethan's greed isn't your fault. Lily's cowardice isn't either. You can't control their choices, but you can control yours. What do you want now, Clara? Not for them, for you. The question catches me off guard. For me? I've spent decades living for others, George, the kids, their dreams. What do I want? I close my eyes, picturing the years ahead. The house feels too quiet, too empty, but it's mine, paid for with years of sacrifice. The $25,000 from Ethan sitting in my account feels like a lifeline, a chance to start over. I don't know, I say finally. I've been so caught up in this fight, I haven't thought about what's next. Then start now, Nora says, her eyes bright. You're free, Clara. No bank breathing down your neck. No kids manipulating you. What's something you've always wanted to do? I hesitate, memories flickering. I used to paint, I say softly. Before the kids, before George got sick, I'd spend hours in the garage, mixing colors, losing myself in it. I stopped because life got in the way. Then paint again, Nora says, grinning. There's an art class at the community center. Starts next week. I'll sign up with you. And that money from Ethan, use it for something you love, not something you owe. I smile, the first real one in days. You're relentless, you know that? Someone's gotta be, she says, squeezing my hand. You're not alone, Clara. You've got me, and you've got yourself. That's enough. I nod, the ache in my chest easing slightly. I call Margaret later, needing her perspective. Clara, you sound better, she says, her voice warm through the phone. How are you holding up? I'm trying, I say. The kids aren't talking to me. It hurts, but Nora says I did the right thing. You did, Margaret says firmly. You protected your future. Ethan's facing consequences, and Lily will have to reckon with her role. You can't fix their choices, but you can rebuild your life. What happens to Ethan now? I ask, dreading the answer. The bank's seizing the penthouse to cover the loan, she says. His lawyer's pushing for a settlement to avoid criminal charges, but that's up to the bank. You're clear, Clara. Focus on what's next. I hang up, Nora's words echoing, "What do you want?" I walk to the garage, where my old easel sits under a tarp, covered in dust. I pull it free, the wood creaking, and find a half-finished canvas, a landscape I started years ago. The colors are faded, but the outline is there, waiting. I touch the canvas, my fingers trembling. Maybe it's not too late to finish it. That night, I lie awake, the rain a soft lullaby. The pain of losing Ethan and Lily is raw, but Nora's right. I'm free. Free to choose myself, to reclaim the pieces I gave away. I think of the art class, of colors waiting to be mixed. I think of George, his proud smile if he could see me now. The doubt still lingers, but it's quieter, drowned out by a spark of hope. I fought for my dignity, and I won. Now I need to fight for my life. The next morning, I call the community center, my voice steady. "I'd like to sign up for the art class," I say, "for next week." "Great," the receptionist chirps. "We'll see you Tuesday." I hang up, a weight lifting. Ethan and Lily may never forgive me, but I'm learning to forgive myself for staying silent too long, for letting their disrespect fester. I'm not just a mother, I'm Clara, and I'm still here, ready to start again. The Portland sun breaks through the clouds, casting a soft glow over my kitchen table where a sketchbook lies open, its pages filled with tentative pencil strokes. It's been 2 weeks since the courtroom victory, since Ethan's fraud was laid bare and the $750,000 loan in my name was voided. The $25,000 in damages sits in my account, a bittersweet reminder of the cost of justice. Ethan hasn't reached out, his silence a wall between us. Lily's last text, "I need time," still stings, a door slammed shut by my own daughter. The ache of their absence is a constant companion, but today, as I trace the outline of a riverbank in my sketchbook, I feel a flicker of something new: freedom. I'm heading to my first art class at the community center this afternoon, a step I haven't taken since my 20s, before George, before the kids. Nora's coming with me, her enthusiasm a lifeline through the fog of my grief. The idea of painting again, of creating something just for me, feels like a rebellion against the years I spent living for others. I close the sketchbook and grab my phone, checking for messages. Nothing from Ethan or Lily, but Nora sent a photo of her own sketchbook, a lopsided drawing of her cat with the caption, "Ready to embarrass ourselves together?" I smile, texting back, "Absolutely." The community center is a short bus ride away, and I dress carefully, a teal sweater, jeans, my good scarf, wanting to feel like someone starting anew. The weight of the trial still lingers, but I'm determined to carry it lightly today. The bus hums through Portland's streets, past coffee shops and bookstores, the city alive with a rhythm I'm just beginning to rediscover. At the community center, Nora's waiting outside, her gray curls bouncing as she waves. "Clara, you look like an artist already," she says, linking her arm with mine. "Don't jinx it," I say, laughing despite the nerves fluttering in my stomach. "I haven't painted in decades." "Then it's time to start," she says, pulling me toward the classroom. The room is bright, with easels lined up and tables covered in paint tubes and brushes. Our instructor, a woman with paint-streaked overalls, introduces herself as Sarah. "No pressure," she says, her smile warm. "This is about finding joy in creating." I set up at an easel, my hands shaky as I mix blues and greens. The brush feels foreign, but as I stroke color onto the canvas, a memory surfaces. Late nights in the garage, George peeking in to say, "That's beautiful, Clara." I paint a river, its edges soft and wild, and for the first time in weeks, my mind quiets. Nora's beside me, her canvas a chaotic burst of red, and we laugh at our clumsy attempts, the sound easing the ache in my chest. After class, we walk to a nearby cafe, the air crisp with the promise of fall. "You were glowing in there," Nora says, sipping her latte, "like you found a piece of yourself." I think I did, I admit, stirring my tea. It's strange. Winning the case saved my home, but this feels like saving me. You deserve it, she says, her eyes fierce. Ethan and Lily made their choices. You're making yours now. What's next? I hesitate, the $25,000 burning a hole in my thoughts. I've been thinking about Savannah, I say. George and I always wanted to go, those historic streets, the Spanish moss. Maybe it's time. Then let's go, Nora says, grinning. A girls' trip. We'll walk the squares, eat shrimp and grits, maybe flirt with some southern gentlemen. I laugh, the idea sparking joy. You're on. Spring, maybe, after I get a few more classes under my belt. Good, she says. You're not just surviving, Clara. You're living. I nod, the word living settling deep. Back home, I call Margaret to check on the case's aftermath. The bank's moving to seize the penthouse, she says. Ethan's lawyer is negotiating a payment plan to avoid criminal charges, but his reputation's taken a hit. You're in the clear. And Lily? I ask, my voice soft. No legal trouble, Margaret says, but she's been named in the bank's internal investigation for knowing about the scheme. She might face questions. I sigh, the ache returning. Thanks, Margaret, for everything. You fought for yourself, Clara, she says. That's what matters. I hang up, staring at the sketchbook. The river I painted today is rough, unfinished, but it's mine, like this new chapter of my life. I think of Ethan's silence, Lily's distance, and the family I thought I had. The pain is there, sharp and real, but it's not all I am. I'm Clara Hensley, not just a mother, not just a widow, but a woman with dreams still worth chasing. I text Nora. Savannah, April, book it? Her reply is instant. Hell yes. I smile, setting the phone down. The rain has stopped and the sun casts long shadows across my kitchen. I open the sketchbook again, picking up a pencil. The river needs more color, more life. So do I. The rain is gone now, and the quiet of my home feels less like a cage and more like a canvas, waiting for new strokes. I fought for justice, exposing Ethan's fraud and Lily's complicity. And though the victory saved my home, it cost me my children. The pain of their silence lingers, a wound that may never fully heal. But in its place, I've found something I'd lost. Myself. The art class, the promise of Savannah with Nora, the $25,000 that's mine to spend on dreams I'd buried. These are my rebellion against years of putting others first. Ethan and Lily may never understand, may never forgive, but I've forgiven myself for staying silent too long. I'm not just a mother betrayed. I'm Clara, painting a new life with colors I choose. The road ahead is uncertain, but it's mine, and I'm ready to walk it, one bold step at a time. Thank you for listening to my story.